Optimization has been a key component of programming since its inception, with an obvious desire to improve things like speed and memory usage. The gamification of programming was inevitable. Websites like LeetCode, Code Wars, and HackerRank offer outlets to developers who want to do more than just create, they want to compete. One competitive outlet for programming, however, diverges from other outlets that encourage faster and less resource-consuming algorithms, and instead rewards programmers for reducing the number of characters needed to complete a task. This is the history of Code Golf. Code Golf is named as such because it shares a similar goal to actual golf. Unlike most sports, the winning score for golf is the lowest one. A player's score is simply the number of strokes it takes to complete a course. In Code Golf, a player's score is the number of keystrokes it takes to write a program that does a specific thing. In this FizzBuzz example, the code on the left contains 75 characters, whereas the code on the right does the same thing with only 59. In a game of pure code golf, how much memory is used and how long it takes is not a factor, and so the one on the right would win. Surprisingly, Code Golf actually has ties to mathematics. In the field of theoretical computer science, the Kolmogorov complexity of any object, usually a string of characters, is the length of the shortest computer program for a given programming language that produces that string. So in the C programming language, the string "Hello World" has Kolmogorov complexity of at most 53, since this 53-character C program is capable of printing out "Hello World." Since Code Golf's goal is to write a program with the least amount of characters, for some problems it can be thought of as trying to approach the Kolmogorov complexity for a given output. I say only some problems since Kolmogorov complexity deals with explicitly programmed outputs, whereas Code Golf more generally deals with transforming specific inputs to specific outputs. But code golfers don't play to do math, they play to win. And the place to do that today is the website code.golf. As is the case with Code Wars and the like, code.golf offers user-submitted challenges, referred to as holes, for other users to complete. The site contains built-in leaderboards, making it an ideal place for the competitive-minded to try and best each other. As of making this video, Code.golf has over 90 holes for 49 languages. That's not where Code Golf started, however. The challenge of minimizing the size of computer programs for a given task has been around since at least 1962. This is evidenced in the coding manual for the Gear computer, a product of Regnes Centralen, Denmark's first computer company. A manual written in Danish states that it is a time-consuming sport to code with the least possible number of instructions, implying that such a practice had been established at the time. It would be another 37 years before the word golf was used to describe the practice of minimizing character counts for programs, despite there being evidence of the practice amongst hackers in the APL programming language. The term popped up in May of 1999 on what appears to be a question board for the Perl programming language, where a user was inquiring about how to change the value of an entry in an array. After the question had been answered by one Greg Bacon, another user had suggested a much less verbose solution, criticizing the use of two loops in the original answer. Mr. Bacon's defense of this criticism is where we see him coin the term. It states, "It's a pedagogical issue. I wanted to show how to collect the information she wanted, and then show one possible way to use it. Playing Perl golf, fewest keystrokes wins, with people who have lots of experience is fine, but it's not going to help much for people who are still trying to get the hang of it." Within a year of the term being coined, the concept of Perl golf had become popular enough to have its own committee. On July 7, 2000, a user by the name of Splinky posted an announcement to perlmonks.org stating that the Perl Golf Committee has been hard at work organizing a Perl Golf tournament for the 4th Pearl Conference in Monterey this July. Dubbed the Pearl Golf Apocalypse, or PGA for short, the tournament allowed entry of up to 10 teams, each comprised of at most 3 Pearl hackers. The teams would be provided with a set of problems, known as holes, that they must solve. Each hole had the potential to reward points in the following ways. Any code that correctly solves the problem is awarded 1 point. Code that correctly solves the problem and contains the smallest number of characters is awarded 6 points, with the first and second runners-up being awarded 5 and 4 points respectively. And finally, the correct answer, which was submitted the soonest, is awarded 3 points, with 2 and 1 points being awarded to the next 2 runners-up. Winners of the tournament would receive gifts in the form of computers, refrigerators stuffed with booty, cruise discounts, CD-ROMs, books, clothing, etc. The same way actual golf has establishments like Topgolf, Code Golf has the Code Golf Stack Exchange. This is to say that on the Code Golf Stack Exchange, users can play a more casual game of Code Golf outside of a tournament setting. The premise is simple. Instead of users posting problems that they need help solving, as is the case on Stack Overflow, questions serve as Code Golf holes for others to play. Users with enough reputation can then upvote answers they think are clever. This makes it more casual than a tournament setting, where points are awarded by more objective metrics. Furthermore, the Code Golf Stack Exchange allows any question to be answered in any programming language, and the answers are open for the public to see. All of these combined to prevent the site from being a competitive outlet, and instead serves as a more creative one. For example, my favorite entry on the site is from 2014, where user Joe Z asked for users to write code that outputs the current year without using any numeric characters. A user by the name of U posted an answer for the Go programming language containing only the Unicode character U2014. This results in a compilation error complaining about the specific Unicode character and thus contains the requested output. An interesting product of Code Golf and language-agnostic challenges are the languages that have been created with the explicit purpose of facilitating it. Notable examples are FlogScript, Vixel, and GolfScript. Code with the purpose of outputting 1000 digits of pi, for example, can be done in GolfScript in just 41 characters, like so. The expressiveness of such a language, of course, comes at the cost of readability. The syntax is extremely esoteric, and would likely take even experienced programmers not already familiar with the language a bit of time and study before they are able to parse it. While Code Golf may be antithetical to good programming by definition, I would argue that solutions can teach a reader features of a language that they might not know, since reducing the total number of characters often demands an intricate understanding of the language. Even if that wasn't the case, and Code Golf served absolutely no direct functional purpose whatsoever, it is still fun to challenge ourselves in interesting ways. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by giving this a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me in the future, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you.